Kirn Review, print speaking to the blind, celebrating 40 years of audio newspaper production. Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, recorded at the Bishopbriggs Media Centre by our amazing volunteers. You can get in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram using @QuenReview. That is @CuenDreview. You can also contact us directly by emailing information@quenreview.com. That is INFORMATION @CuenDreview.com, or by calling 0141 772 3976. That's 0141 772 3976.
This week's podcast, as published on Wednesday the 25th of September 2024, is read to you by volunteers Gordon, Hunter, Ian and Philip. Thanks for listening. Campsie High Kirk to become community hub. Report by Kevin McRoberts. The King's and Lord Treasurer's Remembrancer, KLTR, has announced his decision to transfer Campsie High Kirk in Lennoxtown into community ownership for use as an arts, cultural and community events hub. This historic and much loved building is being sold for a nominal sum to local community group Friends of Campsie High Kirk, who have developed their plans for the ruined church with support from the local community and Eastern Bartonshire Council. The kirk, which has been standing empty for decades after a devastating fire, will help to rejuvenate the Lennoxtown area, which is in the top 10% of the Scottish Index of Multiple Deprivation, SIMD. Constructed in 1828 in the Gothic Revival style, Campsie High Kirk is a Grade A listed building. Friends of Campsie High Kirk representatives have worked with Eastern Bartonshire Council and a number of support agencies to present a successful application containing detailed proposals to the KLTR's Ownerless Property Transfer Scheme, OPTS. This scheme was launched earlier this year to provide opportunities to bring ownerless buildings back into productive use for the benefit of local communities. The KLTR deals with ownerless property in Scotland, a large part of which centres around land and buildings most recently owned by dissolved companies. Until March 2024, these properties were either sold at auction or disclaimed. The OPTS provides another option and may be used where a property could be transferred in the public interest to benefit the local community. The KLTR evaluates applications with the help of an advisory panel. Bobby Sandeman, the KLTR CEO, welcomed the news, saying, "This is an excellent example of how communities, local authorities and support organisations can work collaboratively with us to bring long neglected ownerless property back into beneficial use. We were particularly impressed with how the Friends of Campsie High Kirk had taken advantage of sources of funding and support to develop such a strong plan for the kirk's future and, with their commitment, to saving this incredibly important building to benefit the local area. With a clear vision from the kirk from the outset, the Friends of Campsie High Kirk were motivated by other similar successful projects. Notable examples included the bombed-out church in Liverpool, which lay derelict for 60 years before being transformed into a venue for dance, world music, theatre and spoken word events. Similarly, St Paul's Church in Perth was revitalised as an outdoor space for public events. Both projects exemplify how old church buildings can be restored into valuable community spaces while preserving their heritage. Craig Brooks, Chair of Friends of Campsie High Kirk, said, "We are excited to have the opportunity to transform Campsie High Kirk from a neglected ruin into a centrepiece jewel and beacon of inspiration. This project will drive the wider regeneration of Lennoxtown and Greater Campsie, setting in motion a chain reaction of positive change. Together, we can revitalise Lennoxtown and the Greater Campsie corridor into a vibrant place to live, thrive and visit." Campsie High Kirk was designed in the early 19th century by prominent Glaswegian architect David Hamilton, known as the father of the profession. His other well-known works include Hutchinson's Hall, Nelson's Monument in Glasgow Green, Lennox Castle, and the Royal Exchange Building in Glasgow, which now serves as a gallery of modern art. The High Kirk was used for worship until the 1970s. It was ravaged by a catastrophic fire in 1984. And that article was written by Kevin McRoberts and read to you by Ian McKenna. This Week in History. September 26, 1983. Australia 2 beat Liberty in the deciding race off at Newport, Rhode Island, to deprive the US of the America's Cup, which they had held since its inception. On this day last year, Galaxy chocolate bars were revealed as the latest victim of shrinkflation, reducing in size by 10% amid stubbornly high food price inflation. September 27, 1987, the Great Britain and European Ryder Cup team defeated the US for the first time on US soil to retain the trophy. On this day last year, 1 in 6 species were at risk of becoming lost to extinction in Great Britain, according to a comprehensive analysis by leading wildlife scientists revealed in the State of Nature report. September 28, 1978, Pope John Paul I died after only 33 days as pontiff. On this day last year, a collectible 50p celebrating The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis was unveiled by the Royal Mint. September 29, 1952, British and world water speed record holder John Cobb was killed in Loch Ness when his vessel Crusader disintegrated after hitting waves at 240 miles per hour. On this day last year, more than 5,000 dahlias were on display at Stonehenge in homage to popular Victorian flower shows at the historic monument. And that was This Week in History, as published on Wednesday the 25th of September. Tribute to Miners Lost in Tragedy. Report by Kevin McRoberts. Former miners, trade unionists, local schools, religious leaders and residents of the local community gathered to mark the 65th anniversary of the 1959 Auchingeich mining disaster, which claimed the lives of 47 men. Frank McNally, the recently elected Labour MP for Coatbridge and Bells Hill, addressed those in attendance at the mining memorial at Auchingeich Miners Welfare Club, Moodiesburn. A memorial service is organised by Auchingeich Miners Memorial Committee each September to commemorate the victims of the mining disaster. The service was chaired by Willie Doolan, Auchingeich Miners Memorial Committee Secretary, and featured dedications from the local Frank McNally trade union speakers and ministers and priests from the local parishes, with hymns provided by a joint choir of Glen Manor and St Michael's Primary Schools and the Parkhead Salvation Army Band. In his remarks, Mr McNally paid tribute to the 47 miners who died in the tragedy and their families, and spoke of the integral part played by coal mining in the communities like Moodiesburn and the prosperity of Lanarkshire and Scotland as a whole. Commenting afterwards, Mr McNally said, "The Auchingeich Miners Memorial Committee have once again put on a poignant and thoughtful service. Hundreds of people came from near and far to pay their respects to the men who paid the ultimate price while working to power the nation and bring us prosperity. With each passing year, the determination of the community in Moodiesburn to mark the tragedy never weakens, which shows the strength of that local community. I was proud to dedicate my remarks to the 47 fallen miners and their families at the memorial service last Sunday, and I am determined to ensure the long-standing injustice of the mine workers' pension scheme is finally addressed through reforms, and finally bring justice for those who were unjustly targeted and convicted during the 1984-85 miners' strike." Mr McNally has submitted an early day motion in the House of Commons to mark the 65th anniversary of the disaster. He recently joined the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Coalfield Communities, a cross-party body with objectives to further economic, social and cultural development of the UK's former coalfield communities. Mr. Dooling commented, "I was pleased to invite Frank McNally to give a tribute to our community's poignant annual memorial service. Each year, the community of Moodiesburn and surrounding districts comes together in grief to pay their respects and continue the legacy of the Auchengeich miners, and I am grateful to Frank for his thoughtful remarks. I have known Frank for a number of years, since we served together as councillors on North Lanarkshire Council, and I was keen to recognise his support and solidarity at the service. A commemorative miner's lamp was presented to Mr. McNally by the committee to mark their appreciation for his support." And that report was by Kevin McRoberts.
Call to scrap benefit cap as families hit by income cuts, as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. The number of households receiving universal credit in East Dunbartonshire hit by the government's benefit cap has risen, according to new figures. It comes as a joint briefing from Shelter, Women's Aid and the Child Poverty Action Group called for the cap to be abolished, saying it disproportionately affects children and survivors of domestic abuse and is directly contributing to making families homeless. Department for Work and Pensions figures show 29 households receiving universal credit in East Dunbartonshire had their income cut off by the policy in May, up from just 19 in February. The cap was last raised in April 2023, despite most benefits rising by 6.7% this April. It currently stands at £22,020 for families with children. Anyone due to receive more than this amount in benefits will have their income cut off. Nationally, 118,000 households on universal credit had their income capped this quarter, an increase of 61%. Most of these households were families with children. Polly Neat, Chief Executive of Shelter, called the cap cruel and nonsensical, saying families often living in cramped temporary accommodation are trapped in homelessness and poverty. With a record number of children growing up homeless in temporary accommodation, if the government is serious about tackling child poverty, it must take immediate action, she said. The benefit cap must be scrapped so families can move on from damaging temporary accommodation into a settled home.
Visitors flock to Open Day. Report by Kevin McRoberts. An Open Day at the Kirkintilloch branch of Seagull Trust Cruises attracted many visitors from the local area and from much further afield. The Trust put out an invitation to the public to come along to the South Bank Marina, meet some of the team and find out about the many volunteering opportunities. And many people did just that. Among them were visitors from Australia and the USA. One of the highlights was the opportunity to enjoy a trip on the canal, and while watching a short video of the activities of Seagull Trust Cruises, visitors were treated to tea, coffee, home baking including brownies, cupcakes, lemon drizzle cake, Mars bar cake and much more. In fact, members provided so many goodies there was plenty left over to donate to local community organisations. The main focus of the Open Day was to recruit volunteers, with the Trust attracting more than 15 new members to support the charitable organisation with stewarding, crewing and maintenance work. Further applications are hopefully going to be forthcoming from family and friends of some of the visitors, while many others who were unable to volunteer made generous donations. A spokesperson for the Trust said, "We'd like to thank everyone who came along to our Open Day. Since our recruitment drive began in earnest in June, we are delighted to say we have signed more than 40 new volunteers when our original target was 20. We'd still welcome more volunteers. Anyone interested, please get in touch. Find out more at seagulltrust.org.uk/volunteers. And the article was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Handrail damaged by vandals. a locally based disability charity, has been saddened by vandalism at its premises. Wooden handrails outside the office of Deafblind Scotland at Neasham Drive, Kirkintilloch, have been snapped and broken. A spokesperson for the charity said, "Deafblind Scotland has been left disappointed after the handrail on its sensory path was severely damaged by an act of vandalism. The handrail is a vital feature, ensuring safe navigation to and from the centre for those with sensory loss. For over 25 years, Deafblind Scotland has provided a support network to the deafblind community and has worked to raise awareness of deafblindness, continually highlighting the everyday challenges faced by deafblind people."
George is MSP Rona's local hero by Kevin McRoberts. A Kirkintilloch community stalwart has been nominated to be the area's local hero for the Scottish Parliament's 25th anniversary event, which takes place this Saturday, September the 28th. Strathkelvin and Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay has put forward George Crooks for his outstanding contributions to charity and his service to the local community. The local heroes will participate in a special commemorative event on Saturday, taking place in the debating chamber at Holyrood. George and his late wife Dorothy set up the David Philip Crooks Fund for the Brain Tumour Charity after the tragic death of their son David in 2008. David was a fit young man when his brain tumour was discovered after he suffered a seizure in June 2008 at the age of 26. Sadly, despite surgery and treatment, he passed away on January 27, 2009 at Mary Curie Hospice. To date, the David Philip Crooks Fund has raised more than £53,000 for the charity and is aiming to reach £70,000. George has also made a huge impact in the local community as coordinator of Kirkintilloch Gala, past president of Kirkintilloch and District Bowling Association, property director at the Park Centre in Kirkintilloch, and an elder of St David's Memorial Park Parish Church, Kirkintilloch, to name a few. George, who will be accompanied by Margaret McCover, a friend of his late wife Dorothy, said, "I was very surprised to be nominated. I'm thrilled and honoured to be nominated. Very humbled, in fact." Miss Mackay said, "I'm delighted that George has agreed to be my local hero. He has done so much for the Kirkintilloch community and still does. He and his late wife Dorothy have tirelessly raised funds for the Brain Tumour Charity in loving memory of his son David, which will help so many sufferers today and in the future. I look forward to enjoying the event with him." The Brain Tumour Charity is the world's leading brain tumour charity and the largest dedicated funder of research into brain tumours globally. The anniversary event on Saturday, which will be attended by King Charles, will celebrate the Parliament's achievements over the past 25 years, as well as Scottish music and culture, with performances from young people from across the country. And that article was by Kevin McRoberts.
Millersnewt Primary School's PTA raises an impressive £12,571. A primary school in Lenzie has just received a huge donation thanks to the efforts of a dedicated group of people. Millersnewt Primary School's incredible Parent-Teacher Association has raised a phenomenal £12,571. This is a result of all their hard work in organising a huge range of events, including discos, fairs and quizzes. The PTA would like to thank all the parents, children, families and friends of Millersnewt Primary for showing such incredible support over the past year. Greg Caldo, head teacher of the school, said, "This is an amazing amount of money and it will make such a difference to the pupils at Millersnewt Primary. I would like to say a personal thanks to all the members of the PTA and to the Millersnewt family for once again showing such incredible support."
Stunts and comedy at the cinema. Report by Kevin McRoberts. Tickets are on sale now for the latest films from Kirky Cinema in the Kirkintilloch Town Hall, starring some stunt guy and a lot of colourful emotions. The Kirky Cinema's new lineup of films for this month include 2 movies this Saturday, September 28th. 1 PM, Kung Fu Panda 4, U Certificate. 3:30 PM, The Fall Guy, 12A Certificate. Kung Fu Panda 4 offers animated comedy fun, while The Fall Guy is an action-packed adventure about a stunt guy who becomes a hero. This will be followed by another movie on Friday, October the 4th, 2 PM, Back to the Future, 12 Certificate, dementia-friendly screening. In the 1980s, an experiment by a weird scientist turned out to be faulty. It leads to his teenage pal going back in time to the 1950s, where he is forced to reunite the younger version of his parents. Film tickets, £5 per adult and £3 per child, are available from www.kirkycinema.ticketlight.co.uk. Booking fee applies, and or pay in the door. Carers will be admitted free to the dementia-friendly screening. Snacks and refreshments will be available to purchase. The Kirky Cinema is now under new management and works in full partnership with Eastern Bartonshire Leisure and Culture, EDLC, Trust, which operates Kirkintilloch Town Hall. Serena Marshall, Kirky Cinema manager, said, "We have worked hard this last year to continue to bring cinema to the people of Kirkintilloch and Eastern Bartonshire, and are looking forward to developing our new cinema over the next 2 years. Thanks again to our wonderful volunteers who made it all possible. If you want to join the team, please get in touch." The Kirky Cinema is available to hire for local community groups and schools in Eastern Bartonshire with their portable cinema equipment. For more information on hiring, contact the team at kirkyfilmhub@gmail.com. That's KIRKYFILMHUB@gmail.com. Check out Kirky Cinema on TikTok, Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter. www.tiktok.com/@KirkyCinema, www.facebook.com/KirkyCinema, and x.com/KirkyCinema. And that report was by Kevin McRoberts.
Passing of Mushtaq Ahmad. The death of former Lord Lieutenant of Lanarkshire, Mushtaq Ahmad OBE, has been announced. He died peacefully on Sunday, September 15th. Mushtaq was appointed as Lord Lieutenant in 2010, a role he held with distinction and dedication until he retired in 2017. He was a respected teacher, politician and community leader, recognised with an OBE for his services to local government. His commitment to the people and communities of Lanarkshire will leave a lasting legacy. Mushtaq was born in India and brought up in Pakistan before moving to Britain. He worked in industry before gaining a Master of Arts degree at the University of Glasgow. He completed teacher training at Jordan Hill and taught in Hamilton and the East End of London. In 1977, he became the first organiser of the Adult Literacy Programme in Hamilton, and 11 years later was elected to the former Hamilton District Council for Dalserf. Following the reorganisation of local government in the mid-90s, he became a South Lanarkshire councillor and held his seat until he stepped down from the council in 2007. He served as Deputy Provost, and in May 2003 he was elected Provost, a post he held until 2007. As the first Asian Lord Lieutenant and Provost in Scotland, his appointment was not just a personal triumph, but a significant milestone for the region and the nation. His passion for fostering unity and his ability to navigate and transcend cultural boundaries earned him respect across many communities. Lady Susan Hawkey, CBE, the current Lord Lieutenant of Lanarkshire, said, I am deeply saddened by the death of Mushtaq Ahmed. His dedication to the role and the community was extraordinary. He will be fondly remembered and sadly missed by all who knew him. We extend our heartfelt condolences to his family and friends. Funeral details will be shared once confirmed. Mushtaq Ahmed's contributions to Lanarkshire, from his early years as a teacher to his service as Provost of South Lanarkshire and then Lord Lieutenant of Lanarkshire, will not be forgotten. And that article was unattributed.
Housing proposal. East Dunbartonshire Council has published details of a planned affordable housing development in Lenzie. The council intends to construct 27 houses on the site of the former Campsie Primary School in Boghead Road, along with associated infrastructure, roads, 39 parking spaces and landscaping. The houses would have their own gardens with bin storage areas. The development would be a mixture of cottage flats and terraced housing, with a central playground located on the boundary of Boghead Road, a pond at the northern end of the layout intended to provide an attractive setting at the entrance. Supporting documents also state the housing would be generously spaced out and parking would include charging units for electric vehicles.
As published on Wednesday the 25th of September 2024, from the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald, let's talk. The letters page. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD @JNScotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Scottish nationalism is not dead. Sir, regarding the letter in the Kirkintilloch Herald, September 18, submitted by Robert I.G. Scott, he is an obvious British nationalist of the opinion that the revolutionary spirit of Scottish civic nationalism is dead and gone. His letter is headed Scotland returns to normality. Does he mean the normality of constant austerity under Westminster governments? If Mr. Scott thinks that is normal to live with constant austerity under another country's governance, then I pity him. Just for the record, Mr. Scott, the SNP lost some support, but they are not dead by any means, and there are other independence parties too, in the case you hadn't noticed. The Independence Yes movement continues to grow, and it's not going anywhere until we achieve our country's freedom from colonialism. There is not one positive thing about British nationalism for Scotland. None at all. Miss Smart, Milton of Campsie. Nothing much has changed. Sir, the ongoing stooshy over the winter fuel allowance is reminiscent of the early days of the government elected in 1945. It was the first Labour government ever elected with a commanding majority. During the election campaign, the Labour Party had stressed the need for an immediate increase in the old age pension. In the event, the first action of the new government was to substantially increase the salary of MPs and, to the rage of many, it was some time before the pension was increased. Yours, etc. S. Beck, by email. So much for the promise of respect. Sir, as I understand it, the Scottish Government is required to operate on a balanced budget. How, then, does Prime Minister the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, Knight Commander of the Order of Bath, arrive at the conclusion that the SNP has brought about a financial mess which is of their own making from the last 17 years? Is it because he has not made any attempt to understand Scottish affairs, or because he intends to deliberately mislead the Scottish electorate? Either way, it shows up his disregard for the promise he made that his Labour government in London would show more respect to Scotland than we have had in the past. Yours, etc. Nee Holmes, by email. Truth is out there. Sir, Forget the recent alcohol and drug deaths, or the winter fuel allowance being taken away, or any other of the other myriad good causes abandoned by the SNP for budgetary reasons. No, their real concern has been laid bare. They are increasing Angus Robertson's fake embassy budget by £800,000 in the midst of the carnage they inflict on others. When you learn things like this, you can only shake your head in total disbelief. In all those years of power, they have learned nothing whatsoever. Yours, etc., Alexander Mackay, address supplied. And that was this week's Letters page, Let's Talk, as published on the 25th of September.
Plans for 51 new homes on display by Kevin McRoberts. Residents are being given another chance today, Wednesday, September the 25th, to find out about proposals to build around 51 affordable homes in Kirkintilloch. Eastern Bartonshire Council is proposing to develop an area of land known locally as Cleddon's Playing Fields, or Totty Park. The site to the east of Whitehill Avenue in Hillhead and west of Lochleah, Mossgiel Gardens and Alloway Grove in Hairstains is presently used for open space, but was allocated in the local development plan for residential development in 2017. The proposal is to build 51 affordable homes for social rent on the site, which would include cottage flats, semi-detached and terraced homes ranging from 1 to 4 bedroom properties. The development will be made possible through the allocation of grant funding from the Scottish Government's Affordable Housing Supply Programme. An engagement event took place in August to showcase the proposals. Following feedback at the event and via the online survey, some changes have been made. A further drop-in event has been arranged by the Council's housing team to provide feedback on the views gathered during the first event and to give residents an opportunity to look at the updated proposals, find out more and give further feedback. The event takes place today, 3 to 7 p.m. in Hillhead Community Centre, Meikle Hill Road, Kirkintilloch. Experts will be on hand to answer questions and provide further details on the plans and drawings that are being proposed to help the Council deliver affordable homes for social rent. And that article was by Kevin McRoberts and read by me, Gordon.
On the move with Kirky's Army. Scotland's newest football team is up and walking. If you want to leave the couch, try Athletico Kirky. It's a fun way to become active and remember the good old times. You don't need any gear apart from your trainers. Jim Carmichael, Kirky Rotary President, told the Herald, Athletico Kirky FC is strictly walking football. No contact, no tackling, no headies. Just fun, followed by a sporting memories programme over a cup of tea. It's the perfect mix of exercise and sharing old stories, and it's all free. Ryan Gorman of Kirtas said, This is a real opportunity to remember famous sporting events after some light activity. It's open to all. Sessions are every Monday at St Columba's Church, Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, 10 a.m. to noon. No previous football experience required. The programme is a partnership between Sporting Memories, Kirkintilloch Rotary and Kirtas. Call Ryan on 0141 775 0433.
Family announcements, as published on the 25th of September. Deaths. McKinnon, Neil, peacefully on September the 17th, 2024, at Burston Care Home. Beloved husband of Benny, a much-loved dad of Ronnie, Lorna, Rona and Mira. An adored grandad and great-granddad. Funeral service will take place on Monday, October the 7th, 2024, at St Mary's Parish Church, Kirkintilloch, for 10:30am, thereafter to Daldowie Crematorium for 11:45am. Family flowers only. Donations, if desired, to Alzheimer's Society. Scott, Tommy. Our beloved Tommy Scott sadly lost his fight with cancer on Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2024. son of Margaret and Billy and brother of Brian and Margaret. Funeral service to take place at J&D Lawson Funeral Directors on Friday, September 27 at 10:45am and thereafter to High Park Cemetery, Lennoxtown. Stirling, Janie, Nee Lang. Peacefully at home on September 15th, 2024. Beloved wife of John, a much-loved mum of Carol and John, mother-in-law Paul and Wilma, an adored gran and great-gran. Funeral service will take place on Thursday, October the 3rd, 2024 at Daldowie Crematorium for 10:30am. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to Cancer Research UK. That was this week's family announcements. Helping to deal with the impact of loss. Grief affects us all at one time or another in our lives, whether it be due to the death of a loved one or some other form of loss. It is a normal emotion we feel as a response to loss, says Claire Collins, a bereavement coordinator with Marie Curie, www.mariecurie.org.uk. That's www.mariecurie.org.uk. Throughout our lives, we experience many different types of loss, such as relationship breakdowns, redundancy, financial health, and the death of a loved one. These losses can often lead to a further series of losses. What are the common symptoms of grief? Many symptoms of grief can be experienced after the loss of a loved one, says Claire. The emotional responses include shock, numbness, denial, isolation, loneliness, sadness, anger, despair, emptiness, helplessness, fear, and anxiety. We cannot see these emotions, but there may be more obvious physical symptoms such as disrupted sleep, sleeping more or inability to sleep, loss of appetite, tearfulness, lethargy, panic attacks, increased susceptibility to colds and illness. These responses to loss are normal and do not last forever. Our social context can also be affected as social circles may change, finances and housing may be impacted by the loss. Spiritually, we may experience a crisis in faith or a struggle to find meaning, both a meaning in life and a meaning in death. Does everyone experience grief in the same way? No is the answer, says Claire. Grief is completely unique to each individual. Everyone grieves differently, even within one family or a couple, a fact which can have an impact on relationships. There is no right way or wrong way to grieve, no set pattern and no set time frame. Its symptoms change as we learn to live without the person who has died. Sometimes grief can be complicated due to historical losses, difficult relationships with the deceased, or the circumstances of the death. For example, sudden death, death after a long illness, suicide, or murder. Migration and leaving behind our country of origin can also involve the losses of family and friends, history, and cultural heritage, and this can also impact on our grieving process. What are the common stages of grief? Much has been written about the stages or tasks of grief by researchers such as Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, Colin Murray Parkes, and J. William Worden, says Claire. They speak about how the loss of a loved one is often followed by feelings of shock, denial, and numbness, which can move into an acceptance of the loss as we get back into life's daily activities, such as work, social circles, and meeting new people. Life gradually becomes fuller, and we are able to think fondly about our loved ones without becoming overwhelmed by grief. What are the common misconceptions about grief? Some people feel that the bereaved should be over it or moving on after a few weeks or months, but there is no set time for grieving, says Claire. There is no magic wand that can take the pain away. It takes time, and we can feel as if we are literally going mad with grief. This is normal. People experience grief in their own unique way, adults and children, men and women, and it also is important that we acknowledge everyone's grief, including people with learning disabilities or sufferers of dementia. Further information is available from the Palliative Care of People with Learning Disabilities Network at www.pcpld.org. Have you tips for someone experiencing grief? When you're experiencing a bereavement, it is important you look after yourself and eat regularly, says Claire. Try to get out and take some physical exercise if you can. Also, try to make some space and time for yourself and to remember your loved one. Plus, remember grieving is normal. Give yourself time as your grief will change. If you are struggling to cope with your feelings, seek further help. Talk to your GP or friends and family who could find assistance for you if needed. What are the main differences between grief and depression? The symptoms of grief mentioned above may be similar to those of depression, says Claire. However, depression usually results in a more constant state, whereas grieving is triggered by memories or reminders of a loved one. There are good days and bad days when we are grieving, and eventually these bad days can become bad moments.
Reception marks 50th anniversary of Kirkintilloch Seroptimists. Kirkintilloch and District Seroptimists International are celebrating their 50th anniversary. East Dunbartonshire Council provided a civic reception in William Patrick Library to mark the opening of a display of their work and achievements. It was attended by current and former members, representatives of local organisations and friends. Deputy Provost Colette McDermott outlined the work done by seroptimists locally and internationally before the display was opened by Ariana Gagnon, member of the Scottish Youth Parliament, who spoke eloquently about gender-based violence. Councillor McDermott then cut the cake, decorated in the seroptimist colours of yellow and purple, and Margaret Whitelaw gave a vote of thanks to the speakers, the council and the librarians for hosting the event. The displays in the library and Old Kirk Museum will be open to the public until mid-October.
Rotary and Boys Brigade set out to end polio now. Report by Kevin McRoberts. In a unique partnership, Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland and the Boys Brigade in Britain and the Republic of Ireland have joined forces to end polio now. Operation Purple Pinky has been launched at Boys Brigade headquarters in Scotland. Rotary Foundation trustee and Rotary International's immediate past president, Gordon McAnally, said, "This is an example of two major organisations coming together and working together to tackle a common cause." Reverend Des Johnson, president of the Boys Brigade in Great Britain and the Republic of Ireland, commented, "The Boys Brigade are delighted to join with the Rotary in Britain and Ireland to help end polio now. I know our members and companies, wherever they are based, will meet the challenge of raising awareness of polio so that more vaccines can be supplied to protect children from this terrible disease." Rotarian James Carmichael, RGBI polio lead, explained the Purple Pinky. "When children are given their drops by vaccination teams, they have one of their pinkies painted purple," he said. "This means teams will not give them a second dose, and it also means that children who do not have a purple pinky have yet to receive their drops. The colouring wears off in a few days." Boys Brigade companies, including those in East Dunbartonshire, will be encouraged to support the campaign by organising Purple Pinky events and activities, helping to raise both awareness and funds. Rotary International works with the World Health Organization, UNICEF, governments throughout the world and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on its mission to end polio. Bill Gates has agreed that for £1 raised to end polio now, he would give £2. It costs £1 to provide drops for 3 children, so, with Bill Gates' donation, it means every £1 raised by the Rotary result in 9 children being vaccinated. Jonathan Eales, CEO of the Boys Brigade in Britain and Republic of Ireland, said, "We have had an excellent team working on Operation Purple Pinky for some time now. They've prepared suggested activities for our youngest members right through to various age groups in order to help them plan how they can play their part. With many companies returning for the new session after the summer, I'm sure they'll find many ideas they can use. Reverend Des Johnson added, "We'll be contacting every company in Britain and the Republic of Ireland. I asked them to reach out to their local Rotary Club and ask how they can work together leading up to World Polio Day on October 24. For RJPI, Gordon McAnally reiterated the need for each group to reach out to the other. He said, just as the call has gone out to brigade companies to seek out and work with their local Rotary Club, I would ask all Rotarians to locate their local BB company to offer support. Two vital groups looking for each other." And that report was by Kevin McRoberts. Celebration of Fair Trade. Report by Liz Ibbotson. To celebrate Fair Trade Fortnight, September the 9th to 22nd, and to coincide with the 30th anniversary of the Fair Trade Mark, Lindsay Fair Trade hosted a coffee morning at which Howard Musukwa, a Malawian rice farmer, was the main guest. Representatives from local community groups attended, including Mid-Dumbartonshire MP Susan Murray. Howard comes from the Karonga region of northern Malawi and has been touring Scotland during Fair Trade Fortnight to tell people about the Kilimanjaro Rice Cooperative in which he works. He was here at the invitation of True Origin, a fair trade food importer based in Paisley, which seeks to support smallholder farmers by building partnerships which are mutually beneficial and empowering. Howard has visited schools, churches and community groups to speak about the challenges faced by smallholder farmers. Each farmer has less than 2 acres of land, so it is crucial for them to work in a cooperative to get the best price for their grain when buying equipment and tackling the challenges posed by climate change. Many will have heard of the 90 kg Kilimanjaro Rice Challenge, part of the Scottish Collaborative Support Project for Malawi. If a farmer sells 90 kilograms of rice, he can send one child to secondary school for 1 year. Lots of Scottish schools, community groups and churches have taken part in this challenge and, as a result, many children in Malawi have been able to profit from education. However, many still do not get sufficient education and unemployment levels amongst the young are high. To address this, Howard has set up 3 training schools, one for welders to repair broken farm machinery, one for tailors which was started after a donation of old sewing machines, and one for carpentry. These are giving training and jobs to the young people and helping the local communities. Any school or group wishing to offer support by organising a Kilimanjaro Rice Challenge should contact the Lindsay Fair Trade on lindsayfairtrade@gmail.com. That's LENZIEFAIRTRADE@gmail.com. And the article was written by Liz Ibbotson. Your World Glasgow News. New free helpline launches to assist with HMRC tax queries across Scotland. By Tom Martin, contributor. Scots struggling to understand their tax obligations or navigate their self-assessment forms have been urged to take advantage of a new free advice service. Operated by National Advice Agency Advice Direct Scotland, the helpline is designed to help people with their tax affairs and provide an alternative to calling HMRC. The service, called taxadvice.scot, can be reached online or by calling 0800 756 3381, with specialist advisors ready to help both individuals and businesses with tax queries. Its key aim is to offer free advice to customers who may face difficulties in understanding their tax obligations, need help dealing with tax-related debts, or are digitally excluded from accessing HMRC services. Advice Direct Scotland is one of 12 voluntary and community sector organisations across the UK enlisted by HMRC to deliver tailored tax and benefits advice, and the only one providing the service in Scotland. The advisors at taxadvice.scot can answer questions in a wide range of areas, from PAYE and national insurance queries to advice in filling in self-assessment forms. They can also offer guidance on pensions, inheritance tax, capital gains tax, and marriage allowance, as well as help with claiming child benefit and tax credits. Customers can also receive support in claiming tax refunds and managing any tax-related debts. Scottish businesses can also benefit from the service with advice on VAT registration, corporation tax, and compliance issues. This new service complements Advice Direct Scotland's existing consumer support channels, including energyadvice.scot, consumeradvice.scot, and moneyadvice.scot. The charity handles more than 900,000 customer contacts a year, providing free, impartial advice to everyone in Scotland, regardless of their circumstances. Andrew Bartlett, Chief Executive of Advice Direct Scotland, said, "We are delighted to be launching this new service, which will help people living in Scotland navigate the complexities of the UK tax system. Anyone who has ever filled in a self-assessment form will know how difficult the process can be, and trying to look up answers online can often be just as confusing. The launch of taxadvice.scot means that people now have the option of picking up the phone to a friendly advisor without any charge. We are particularly keen to break down the barriers to accessing advice by helping those who might find it difficult to access HMRC's digital services. Our message for anyone in Scotland confused by their tax obligations is that calling HMRC isn't your only option. You can visit taxadvice.scot, that's taxadvice.scot, or you can call us on 0800 756 3381, that's 0800 756 3381. And the article was written by Tom Martin. Double Joy for Writers Group, report by Kevin McRoberts. Strathkelvin Writers Group has enjoyed a double celebration this month. On Friday, September 13th, member Alan Gaw was announced as the winner of the prestigious Bloody Scotland International Crime Writing Festival debut, Crime Novel of the Year, for his book The Silent House of Sleep. On Tuesday, September 17, Sky Painting, an anthology including the contributions of 42 Strathkelvin members, was launched. The Silent House of Sleep is the first mystery in the Dr. Jack Cuthbert mystery series, with the first book set in 1929. Jack Cuthbert is a tall, dashing, brilliant pathologist who helps Scotland Yard solve murders, but he's also a man who lives with secrets, and he still battles demons brought back from the trenches. Alan Gaw, who is a retired pathologist, has so far published 3 books in the series, with the 4th, The Shadows in the Dust, due to be released at the end of October. Dr. Gaw, who has also had a book of poetry, Love and Other Diseases, published by Seahorse Publications, credits Strathkelvin Writers as an important factor in his success. Strathkelvin Writers was formed 42 years ago and boasts many highly successful writers in its ranks, such as the late Margaret Thompson Davis, Teresa Breslin, OBE, and journalist Margaret Clayton. The group includes highly published, as well as developing writers, and novices, and provides a friendly, nourishing and supportive environment to all. It meets on a Tuesday night from 7pm to 9pm in Woodhill Evangelical Church, Bishopbriggs. Sky Painting is a 286-page collection of short stories, poems, flash fiction, articles and sketches, described by author Noel Holton as a brilliant anthology with something for everyone. Emotive, fun, gripping and truly entertaining. Sky Painting, with all profits providing much needed funds for Strathkelvin, is available via Amazon or direct from the Writers Group. The Jack Cuthbert mystery books can be purchased from Amazon. For more information, visit the Strathkelvin Writers Group website, www.strathkelvinwriters.org. That's www.strathkelvinwriters.org. And that report was by Kevin McRoberts.
Allergy alert over mustard products. Food Standards Scotland, FSS, is advising people who have a peanut allergy to avoid consuming foods that contain or may contain mustard, mustard powder, or mustard flour because they may have been contaminated with peanuts. These mustard ingredients can be found in food such as dips, sauces, salads, and pre-packed sandwiches. FSS is urgently working with the local authorities, individual businesses, and industry to identify which products may be affected. Several products identified are listed on the FSS website www.foodstandards.gov.scot. The contaminated mustard ingredients have been traced to a producer in India called GT Agro Industries. As it continues to try to identify the individual products which may have been contaminated with these mustard ingredients and, because of the severity of some allergic reactions to peanuts, FSS is taking a precautionary approach so that people with a peanut allergy have up-to-date information about the potential risk. If mustard is present in a food, it should be labelled in bold on the packet because it is an allergen itself. If there is a risk that mustard could be unintentionally present in food, there will be a may contain label for mustard. If you're eating out, please ask the cafe or restaurant staff if any of their products contain mustard. By law, food businesses must provide this information to customers. Food Standards Scotland's Head of Incidents, Stuart McAdam, said those with a peanut allergy should avoid consuming products containing mustard as an ingredient while we urgently investigate. And that article was unattributed.
Good day to you. It's Philip here again, back reading the church news under the district news of the Kirkintilloch Herald. Hope you didn't miss me while I was away. And this church news this week is interesting. There's some good items, especially from Milton of Campsie Church. Last Sunday they had the Oompa Greedy Go Mad Extra use music, art and drama to focus on the need for fair trade. The name Oompa Greedy and Go Mad are all part of the youth work that they have at Milton of Campsie Church, which is a great work run by Julie, the minister. And they say thanks to all the children and their parents who came along. Guest of honour at last week's Time to Pray was Howard Mukwa, a fair trade rice farmer from Malawi. What an encouragement for all of those who were there to participate in the Columboro Rice Challenge. At only £2 a bag, this rice is the best ever, and every bag sold helps a child in Malawi go to school. Buy your rice at the church. That's Campsie Parish Church or St Paul's this week. Our minister Julie begins her study leave as she leaves to take time out. She is in our prayers. And the toddler group on Mondays at 9:45, the usual activities there. Plus there's the holiday club at 2 p.m, badminton at 7:30 p.m, and Creation Bible Study in the church centre at 7:30 p.m. Cafe Connect on Tuesdays at 9:30. Time to Pray on Wednesdays is at 7 p.m. Also this Wednesday the fellowship meets at the 7:30 when the Reverend Alistair McLaughlin will speak about Hugh Miller. On Friday the junior and anchor sections of the BB meet at 6:15 p.m. Sunday services at 11 a.m. will be led by Ross McFarlane from the Scottish Bible Society. The church's magazine Messenger has been delivered through every letterbox in the village. If you didn't get one or would like one posted to you, contact the team on 07582 713 463. And now we move to Kirkie, St Mary's. The service on Sunday, September the 29th, will begin at 11 a.m. as usual and will be taken by the Reverend Dr. Ruth Morrison. There will be age-appropriate activities for all youth and young children in the church halls during the service. After the service, tickets for the harvest lunch will continue to be sold. Tickets cost £1. That's cheap. A donation on the day This lunch will take place after the service on Sunday, October the 13th, and will consist of baked potatoes with a variety of fillings, followed by apple pie and cream. Ooh, sounds good. Might pop along. On October the 2nd, the church will be holding an open doors day, that is. The church will be open from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Tea, coffee and biscuits will be available all day. Wednesday, welcome. Continue to meet on Wednesday, September the 25th, and a warm welcome awaits everyone. Tea, coffee and home baking as well as fellowship is available from 10 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. Then a short service follows this, taken by Ruth Morrison. The craft group also continue to meet on Monday, September the 23rd from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. And now to Bishopbriggs, Springfield, Cambridge Church. The morning worship on Sunday, September the 29th will be conducted by the Reverend Ian Taylor in the sanctuary at 11 a.m. An offering will be taken during the service. Please pray and place your offerings in the offering plates as they are passed around. Tea, coffee will be served in the Cameron Hall after morning worship. Come and enjoy the fellowship. The Sunday school meets in room 2, where creche facilities are also available. Morning worship is also being live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website. That's all the W's, springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and on Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. There will be a vestry hour on Wednesday, September the 25th from 10 to 11 a.m. for anyone wishing to talk with the minister. There will be a short weekly service of worship in Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, September the 25th from 11:10 to 11:30, followed by tea and coffee in the Hall of Fellowship. The Cut session will meet on Tuesday, October the 1st at 7:30 in Springfield Cambridge Chapel. The Guild is inviting congregation to join them in supporting the Eastern Bartonshire Food Bank warehouse by bringing donations and leaving them in the cupboard in the cloakroom. A list is attached to the cupboard identifying specific items, specially is the word I'm looking for, requested. Members of the congregation who are taking part in the Smarties Challenge are asked to return their filled Smartie tube to the church by end of September. I think if this my interpretation of that is correct, something I did many years ago. You get a Smartie tube, eat the Smarties, and then you fill it up with 20 pences, and it all goes to whatever charity that the church is using it for. Good idea. Not a new idea, but an old idea, just like me. And now we move to Lenzie. Lenzie Union Parish Church. Sunday, the service on Sunday, September the 29th is at 11 a.m, led by the Reverend Donald MacLeod. Creche is provided for babies and toddlers. Young people are also welcome to Lighthouse and Bible class. A live stream of the service will be available on YouTube. The meeting place opens for tea and coffee at home baking every Wednesday, 10 a.m. till 12 noon in the new hall. Everyone from the very young to the young at heart, that's me, is welcome to attend. We also have a good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. The Lenzie Union Bridge Club restarts on Wednesday, October the 2nd in the Old Hall, 1 till 3 p.m. Come and play this classic game. That's a game I've never played, and there are those who like it. But not for me, but stay curious. Try Alpha, explore the Christian faith together. Each session explores a big question of life, faith and purpose. Starting in October, Wednesday afternoons from 1:30 in the new hall, and all are welcome. And as a video presentation, there'll be a light refreshments and discussion. Contact Claire Robertson at alpha.lenzie@gmail.com or 077-894-25547 for more details and information about that. The coffee pot again reopens on Friday for tea, coffee and home baking. A warm, friendly welcome, and that's on the Fridays from 10 till noon. A Harvest Thanksgiving service will be held on Sunday, October the 6th at 11 a.m. There will be a fair trade stall at Rendezvous after the service. Staying in Lenzie, we go to Lenzie Old Parish Church. Sunday worship begins at the church at 11 a.m. A creche is available for children under 3. Thursday afternoon club on September the 26th at 2 p.m. Enjoy tea, coffee and home baking, followed by a game of Scrabble, dominoes, Ruby Cube or Uno. If preferred, you can sit back and chat and or do your knitting there. Yes, bring your knitting. There are books for sale and any donations go to Women's Aid. There is also church sales table with cards, knitted baby jackets, homemade jam, chutney, etc. cost £2. Come and Sing event is on Tuesdays in October the 1st at 1:15 to 2:45. The dementia-friendly singing group meets in the church hall. A warm welcome awaits everyone who comes along. And of course, there's the usual cuppa with some delicious home baking. Feel free to come and sing. And singing is good for people with dementia, and it's good for all of us, if we have dementia or not. It's good to get together and just to share that. So that's Lindsay Old. Now we move to Bishopbriggs, to Colston Well Park Church. You are welcome to our morning service at Colston Well Park, starting at 11 a.m. and conducted by the Reverend Malcolm Cuthbertson. After the service, tea and coffee will be served in the hall. On Monday, the Art Club continues from 10 till 1 p.m. And any budding artists are welcome to join us. Come along for a chat or give Ramsey a call on 07709584680. For more information, this Wednesday, the Colston Tea Break is on from 11 a.m. to 12:30. And anyone is welcome for some chat, good food, plus the bonus of good company. And it's free. Yay, I like that word, free. Staying in Bishopbriggs, we have St James Church, Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs, with the minister there, Paul Watson. There's a communion service in the chapel on Thursday, September the 26th at 11 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Sunday, September the 29th. The 10:30 communion service with hymns, etc. on Sunday is in the church. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay for tea or coffee and fellowship afterwards. In the evening, on Sunday at 7 till 8 p.m, there is a journey event. The Situationness of Our Lives, it's called. The only place we can start from is where we are, understanding and valuing our own stories as a place where God is fully present. Note, next week on Sunday, October the 6th, we will be celebrating harvest, both at 10:30 service and at Crafty Kids in the afternoon. There are also other virtual services and groups for up-to-date information. Again, check out their social media, Facebook, St James LS Bishopbriggs, or on the website stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. And again, staying in Bishopbriggs, we have Kenmure Parish Church. Our Harvest Thanksgiving service will be held this Sunday morning, beginning at 11 a.m. Gifts of dried and tinned foods will be received. All gifts will be taken to the Lodging House Mission in Glasgow. Lodging House Mission, just to let you know, is a hall and a building, old church that they help out those who are living on the streets, providing them with food and care and support. So come along and support that. Yes, and the worship service will be led by John Anderson. Visitors to the area will be made welcome when they join us for our Sunday morning worship. You can attend either in person or online or on their YouTube channel. The service on YouTube can be watched live as it is streamed or later at a time that suits you. You can find our channel by simply searching Kenmure Bishopbriggs on YouTube. And it's a great thing, YouTube these days, and Zoom and all that sort of stuff. And there will be a period of fellowship following the service in the hall. For up-to-date details of all our groups, visit What's On section of their website, kenmure-church.co.uk. Find us on Facebook. Join our WhatsApp group or receive the Bible studies from the ABC. Email kenmurechurch@icloud.com. And also, there's going to be an organ recital on Saturday, October the 5th, at 2 p.m. in Cadder Parish Church. Organist Kieran Walker and Jonathan Smith, free entry. The concert is sponsored by the Glasgow Society of Organists, a charity founded in 1911 to promote the education of its members and public in the art of music, with special reference to organ and choral music. It has evolved from its beginnings as a society catering primarily for the interests of organists to one that aspires to a membership that includes organists, church musicians, and those who simply enjoy organ music. Kieran Walker, organist and director of music at St Michael's Parish Church in Veresk, is a young organist from Musselburgh, East Lothian. Initially self-taught at the age of 16, he began formal lessons with Edinburgh City organist Dr. John Kitchen. He has since gained several diplomas, including the prestigious Associateship of the Royal College of Organists. Jonathan Smith is a final year undergraduate music student at the University of Glasgow, where he is also the Laffin Organ Scholar. As a University Organ Scholar, he regularly accompanies the chapel choir in services and concerts. Jonathan studies organ with university organist Dr. Kevin Boyer. As a pianist, he is an accompanist for the university's opera and choral societies. Jonathan's frequent collaborative work includes projects with students, composers and performers, as well as being involved with choirs both in Glasgow and the surrounding areas. Cadder Parish Church. The Sunday service will be led by John McGregor. Music is led by Javier Jose, and the Cadder Kids and Crest will meet at the church. All are welcome. Our church services are videoed and recorded and are available from the church website. Tea and coffee served after each service. Coffee shop is open Tuesday to Thursday, 1 a.m, I'm sure that's wrong, 1 p.m. till 2 p.m, and Friday 10 a.m. to noon. I think that should be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if you wish to donate to the local food bank, you can bring your donations of food to the church or the coffee shop. Early fellowship in the South Hall Chapel at 9:30 on Tuesdays and Thursday, and also on Zoom. Messy play for preschool children in the South Hall. Tuesday and Thursday from 10:30 a.m. Girls Brigade on Tuesdays from 6:15 p.m. and girls from P1 to S6 and the Boys Brigade anchors and juniors on a Monday evening, and the company of the Boys Brigade meet on Friday evening. Full details on the church website. Guild meets on Thursday, October the 3rd in the South Hall at 7 p.m. Our speaker is Ian Watt and his subject is Japan. As always, anyone is very welcome. There will be a litter pick on Saturday, October the 19th, meeting at 10 a.m. at the South Hall. All are welcome. And the next film night is on Friday, September the 27th at 7 p.m. For 7:30 start in the North Hall. The film showing is the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. I think that's been on the telly and it was quite a good film. And the tickets are priced at £5 and are available from members of the fellowship team. Organ recital on October the 5th at 2 p.m. in Cadder Parish Church. Entry is free. First Monday group will be resuming on Monday, October the 7th in Cadder North Hall at 1:30 p.m. The speaker will talk about the work of Eastern Bartonshire Women's Aid, and there will be tea and coffee and home baking to be enjoyed by the Springfield Cambridge Festival Choir. The box office for this year's concert, which takes place on Monday, December the 23rd at the Royal Concert Hall, is on Wednesdays and Fridays at the South Hall, 10 a.m. to noon. And now we have the St Columba's Men's Club. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? So asked John Keats in his Ode to Autumn. Well, winter certainly is well on its way. After a truly miserable summer, I don't think it was that miserable. I think there's some good days. And even today, the sun is shining. Yes, of spring can be envisaged by Keats. The Men's Club may be an answer. At 7:30 p.m. every Monday from October the 7th, St Columba's Men's Club meets in the Church Hall in Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, and offers a very warm welcome, together with the chance to play a bit of pool, snooker, dominoes, or even some table tennis for the more sprightly among us. If none of these appeal, how about a cup of coffee and tea and a chat? Our members come not only from Kirkintilloch, but also from Lindsay, Cumbernauld, Milton Campsie and Bearsden. And if you think this may be for you and want details, contact either Ian Gibb on 776-5453 or Jim Kennedy on 077-567-124-416. So there you have it. That's the church news for this week from the Kirky Herald, and hopefully one of these are maybe of interest to you. And if you have any comments that you want to make about the church news, or anything you want to add to the church news, if you think I could be better, I could sound more cheerier, then I'll try my best. Anyway, the sun is shining. I've been away for a sunny break on my holly bags, and I enjoyed it. But it's good to be back, because I could take so much sunshine and then it becomes boring. But not here in Scotland. We have sun, rain, sleet, snow, wind, cold, wet, and sun again, all in one day. It's great to have weather that's different. So thank you for staying with us thus far on the Church News. God bless you and have a good week, and I'll be back next week.
District News General, as published on Wednesday the 25th of September. Holyrood View. Flamingo Land's proposals rejected. By Ross Greer, MSP. There were whoops, cheers, and more than a few tears in Lomond Parish Church when the board of Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park unanimously rejected Flamingoland's mega resort plans. It was the result the community and the campaigners deserved. The board's decision was an immense relief for those of us who've been on the front line of battling one of the most ridiculous planning applications in Scottish history. The scale of Flamingoland's proposal was obscene. If successful, it would have crammed 104 woodland lodges, a water park, 2 hotels, a monorail, 372 parking spaces and more into this beautiful corner of the loch at Balloch. It would have been cultural and environmental vandalism. The developer's own traffic assessment estimated that it would add more than 250 cars an hour to local roads at peak times. It was no wonder that people, both locally and across Scotland, felt so strongly. The decision and the jubilation that surrounded it were almost a decade in the making. The Scottish Greens collected 154,000 objections, hired legal advisors, printed 10,000 posters for local residents, and worked with community campaigners since the very start of this saga. If 154,000 people took the time to tell me I was wrong, I hope I would show some self-awareness. But not Flamingoland. They dragged it out until the bitter end. Some of the most respected conservation groups in Scotland joined our campaign. Even the National Park's own expert officers submitted a report that meticulously critiqued their plan and recommended their board reject it. It was a massive team effort. Local residents opposed Flamingoland by a margin of 3-1, but they were backed up by thousands of supporters from across Scotland. I hope this is the end of the line for Flamingoland, but they still have exclusive rights to the site due to an agreement with the Scottish Government's Enterprise Agency, who own most of it. It is long past time for this agreement to be ripped up and Flamingoland's grip on the area to be brought to an end. As frustrating and stressful as the last 8 years have been, they have also shown the strength and importance of community organising. Local people have shown time and again that Flamingoland is neither needed nor wanted at Loch Lomond. And that was the Holyrood View by Ross Greer, MSP. Boa constrictor needs a home. Meet Jason Maboa, a boa constrictor looking for his forever home. He is currently being cared for by the Scottish SPCA in Edinburgh and Lothian's Animal Rescue and Rehoming Centre. Like his namesake, this is a handsome, muscly guy with a friendly nature. Jason Maboa is a young 3-foot boa constrictor who is looking to grow to around 4 to 6 feet. He strikes for food and is looking for an experienced owner who is confident around feeding. He will need a suitably sized vivarium with plenty of room to roam as he grows. This will include lots of great enrichment where he can slither in spaces to curl up in. If you can give Jason Maboa his new home, please apply via the Scottish SPCA website www.scottishspca.org/rehome-a-pet. And that was this week's District News as published on the 25th of September. Sport. Lindsay hosts young golfers. Report by Brian Yule. Young golfers from across the Scottish Lowlands came together at Lindsay Golf Club for its Junior Open. This year there was plenty of talent on show, but in the end it was the home advantage that truly shone through. The under-18 individual scratch and handicap trophies over 18 holes were sponsored by an insurance and mortgage broker, D.A. Calder. The scratch winner was Corey Hagan of Drumpellier with a score of 72, one ahead of the host club's Cameron Pike and Sean Smith of Kirkintilloch. The handicap winner was James Bishop of Lenzie with a score of 62, two ahead of clubmate Christopher Stewart with Hagan in third. The competition also incorporated the Cameron Penn Memorial Team Trophy, given to the club with the best 3 individual net scores combined. Having claimed the top 2 places, the winners were Lenzie with scores of Bishop, Stewart and 5th place Max McBride equaling 192. The Under-14s individual trophy, sponsored by Specsavers and Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs for the 6th year, was a 9-hole Stableford. For the first time, all podium spots were claimed by Lindsay members, as Cole Obeluck took the top prize with Adam Bell 2nd and Seth Williamson 3rd. William McMeeking, junior convener at Lindsay Golf Club, said, "We are incredibly thankful to the sponsors for their unwavering commitment to this event. Their support not only helps us celebrate the talent we have at the club, but also provides an important platform for young golfers in the surrounding area to develop and thrive." Neil Drain, optometrist director at Specsavers and Bishopbriggs and Kirkintilloch, added, "It's wonderful to see the enthusiasm and skill of these young players each year. The event's success is a testament to the hard work of everyone involved and the enduring appeal of golf to the younger generation." And that article was written by Brian Yule. Scottish Power expands support of the game. Scottish Power has expanded its support for women's and girls' football with the sponsorship of the All Scottish Women's Football (SWF) Cup competitions. The sponsorship will consist of 4 separate trophy competitions open to teams that all play with the SWPL. The announcement was made at Riverside Park, Dundee, host of the first Scottish Cup final in 1970. Last season saw Rossvale win the championship and League One Cup, now named the Scottish Power National League Cup. Although they won't be able to defend the trophy after promotion to the SWPL2, the club was represented by Tina Hill in Dundee. She was joined by legend Rose Riley and players from the other cup-winning teams, Glenrothes Strollers, Linlithgow Rose and Buckie Ladies, and that article was unattributed. Gibson is ready to fight as Rob Roy exit the cup. Report by Brian Yule. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy boss John Gibson is adamant we will turn it around after his team lost in the second round of the Scottish Junior Cup. Rob Roy suffered a shock as he went down 3-2 away to West of Scotland 3rd Division outfit Glasgow University on Friday night. Adam Cummings grabbed a double for the visitors, who hit the woodwork no fewer than 5 times. But with the Glasgow keeper in top form, goals from Gregor Fordyce, Ian Last and Callum Logan saw the hosts progress. Despite the defeat, Gibson was much happier with the performance as he prepares his side for a trip to St Roch's in the First Division this Saturday. He told the club's media team, "I thought we played quite well, but all the credit to Glasgow Uni as they took their chances. It is probably the most chances we've created this season, but the keeper has had a few worldly saves and we hit the woodwork 5 times. Sometimes it just doesn't fall for you. Now we need to get the head up and move on. I'm up for the fight and we will turn it around." Caledonian Locomotives are through to the 3rd round with a 7-0 win at home to Arbroath Victoria, while West Park United squeezed past Lochie Harp and Dundee 7-6 on penalties, following a 3-3 draw. However, Ashfield are also out after losing 5-2 at home to Thorn Athletic, while Rossvale were beaten 6-1 as they hosted Hull Russell. Cayley had been drawn away to Largs Thistle, while West Park headed back to the City of Discovery to face Dundee Violet. Saturday fixtures: West of Scotland First Division, Ardrossan Winton Rovers v Ashfield, Petershill vs Blantyre Victoria, St Roch's vs Kirkintilloch Rob Roy. 2nd Division, Bonnyton Thistle vs Caledonian Locomotive. 4th Division, Rossvale v West Park United. Glasgow City won 3-0 at home to Hibernian in the Scottish Women's Premier League 1 on Sunday on the return to Petershill Park, with goals from Emily Whelan, Sophia Mata and Rami Noel. City are up to 2nd in the table as they travel to Hearts this Sunday in the 2nd round of the Sky Sports Cup. Rossvale women picked up a point to end a run of 3 defeats in the SWPL 1 as they drew 1-1 at home to Ayr United. And that report was by Brian Yule. Speedway. Hot prospect Cairns ends time in youth ranks on a high. The 2024 British Youth Championship concluded on Sunday as the final round took place at Ashfield. This season saw a total of 47 Speedway starlets taking part across the season in the 4 classes. The 250cc class were involved in 8 rounds, while the 500cc competed in 7, and both the 125cc and the 125cc support classes in 6. The point system for the championship is similar to the scoring system in the Speedway GP, where the winner gets 18 points, second 16, third 14, fourth 12, etc. However, due to the possibility riders may be unavailable because of a family holiday or a school exam, for example, each rider's final scores are based on one dropped round. William Kears won the 500cc with 108 points, 31 clear of his nearest rival, while Stein Piper, younger brother of former Glasgow Tigers rider Ace, came 4th in the table. Cooper Rushen won the 250cc with 120 points in a much tighter affair. Oliver Bonington retained the 150cc title that he previously won in 2023 with 90 points, and Charlie Fletcher won the 125cc with 84 points. Cairns has become hot property in British Speedway after an impressive debut campaign in the National Development League for Bellevue Colts. The 15-year-old is now looking forward to stepping up from the youth ranks in order to become a professional rider. He is set to face Tigers in the championship next season and is also considering offers from teams in Europe. He told the Tigers website, "It is the end of an era as I end my time in the British Youth Championship. I'm proud of how far I've come, and it's good to end on a high. There have been some big names down the years to have won it, and it's good to join that list. When I got the trophy, my dad and I had 5 minutes looking at the names. It's definitely daunting to be my last year in the Youth Championship. Next year, I will move up to Cab Direct Championship and hopefully get some guest bookings in the Premiership. I've also been talking to some under-24 teams in Poland and in the Swedish 2nd Division. I'll probably be doing 5 leagues in 3 countries. So, I'm going from being a 15-year-old schoolboy to becoming a fully fledged professional rider. It's definitely going to be a different ball game." And that article was unattributed.
That concludes this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Tune Review and to tell your friends about our service.